start with you, Madam Kamkam. If you can tell us really, help us understand gender-based violence and how it starts.
How it starts? Okay, before I even zoom in, from today, 25th of November to the 10th of December, we are celebrating across the world what we call 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So today, 25th, is elimination of all forms of violence against women. That is today. So when you say how does violence start?
Now, how does it happen? Yes.
It starts in different forms and in different ways. It can happen as we are here. The way I look at you, the way I speak to you. So if you are looking at it from domestic violence, then all that happens in the domestic setting within an existing or a previous relationship. It can be verbal or hate speech. It can be harassment and sexual harassment. It can be physical. It can be emotional or psychological. It can be economic. Most of the time, what we see is the physical. So then we can shout. But a lot more go on in there. And it doesn't happen to just one group of people. It can happen to anybody. It's happening to the elite. It happens to everybody. Location doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And status does not matter. It can happen to anyone.
And I know that sometimes they come very subtly. So perhaps I should ask you, Doc, what are the signals that you can see that eventually you'll be able to tell that this is going to a place I don't like?
Just as she mentioned, it also comes in different forms. And I would give you an example. Recently, a young lady called me and said, my boss called me stupid in the office. I've cried the whole day. That's certainly an abuse. Because you are her boss, no matter the circumstance, you can't just call her stupid. Get me, you this stupid girl, get me this. These are signs. It's started. And so if you are not able to curb it right from the word go, it continues. So she called me and she told me, I said, can I speak to your boss? She said, I am scared. I'm scared because I really fought for this job. And so I'm scared that if you ask me, I said, no, you give me the boss's number. Virtually, I spoke to the boss. He apologized. And I realized that it's something he even does at home. So he actually didn't, it didn't occur to him that he was abusing. So I told him, look, if you do this at home to your wife, to your kids, it means you are abusing them. And I tell you, one of these days, you'll be at the grips of the police.
That was like saving the whole family, actually,
exactly.
Not just the lady.
Exactly. And so that man has been very, very grateful to me from the day we spoke. This is about 3-4 months ago.
Wow.
He's been very grateful. So, you see, it starts in very little ways, which means he's been doing it at home, but he's not thought of it. And he's just extended it to the office. And thanks to that lady who was well informed, but you see, she was scared. Assuming I had not encouraged her and given her that support, she would have been scared and would not talk because she's economically
dependent on that.
Her job.
Yeah.
Her job. So it comes in different forms.
I mean, that's a great one. And not everybody really would be in the position of the boss. There are some people you talk to and they'll be upset and even do worse, which is why this lady who called you was concerned that she could lose her job eventually. And I wanted to come back to you, Madam Kamkam, because people find it difficult to leave such situations when they find themselves in, especially the romantic relationships. Why do you think it's that difficult, even when people are in such situations that they know really is a threat to them?
That is the intimate partner violence. So why is it difficult? I always think that, or I've been saying, Ghana is kind of a welfare society. Everybody is thinking about the other. Instead of thinking about the trauma someone is going through, They are thinking, oh no, this is okay, we will solve it here. There are so many times cases that are reported never end or have never ended. So you report the case, it goes to the police comes in, and then the survivor or the victim never comes to the police station again. But according to this law, the Domestic Violence Act, the survivor or the victim is only a witness. The case then becomes between the state and the perpetrator. So like this current case we have from last week is between the perpetrator and the state. And
the lady actually reported, she reported, not as many people who would not.
No, but the lady here now is only a witness to the case. So however the state will make sure the case runs to its end or the concluding end, it's between the state and the perpetrator, or it's up to the state. The victim, the survivor, doesn't have to always come. So when you look at this act here, the Section 8 and also Section 3 of the Hospital Fees Act, this law here will say that you have to go to the hospital for medical form. People don't have 1,005 Ghana cedis lying down just to go and take medical report. The doctors are right. Yes, the doctors are right taking that money because they might have to go to court. Meanwhile, the Hospital Fees Act says that in such circumstances, the state has to pay. So whichever hospital that you are situated or the community you are in, the district hospital, the government hospital, has to pay. But how many of us, where are the funds for that service, for those services? So there are a lot of gaps. That is why people don't want to go and report, because if you go and report, even transportation, according to our laws, transportation for the perpetrator to go to court has to be taken care of by the state or the hospital registry. Where are all these? So you realize that it has to be a collective effort, not only the victim or the survivor, a collective effort of the survivor, the victim, family, friends, community, state responding agencies. The state responding agencies are there. Probably, I'm not too sure, but probably funding. All of these state institutions, majority of them, so social welfare is under Ministry of Gender.
Yes.
Department of Domestic Violence, the Secretariat. It's also under, no, even the Secretariat, the Domestic Violence Secretariat, it's under Ministry of Gender. How much is Ministry of Gender's budget? Even when they put in the budget, only about 40% goes to them. Meanwhile, they are overloaded with social protection issues, school feeding, LEAP, all of these. So we really need to do a very critical conversation, and government must be committed. If government is not committed, how much can civil society do? How much can the survivor do? We have to have shelters. So if the survivor knows that if I go and report, I can run to the shelter and be safe, why not? But if they go and report and have to go back to that same situation, they will eventually not come and report.
Beyond the economic and the social protection bit is also the psychological bit internally. Doc, if you can tell us how people who find themselves in this situation can be protected and where they even need to go to get this kind of help.
Okay. So she ended by saying, yes, for example, Ministry of Gender, when it happens, the person will have to be taken away. Because psychologically, I like, once a teacher, always a teacher. I like giving examples. The woman, what has happened recently, your station interviewed the woman. She was taken from that abuse. She has to be taken somewhere. Because psychologically, she's not well.
And the environment will remind her.
Exactly. So how long can she even be kept in a shelter? How many shelters do we have as a country in a region? So yes, in Accra, we might quickly organize to get a shelter for you. But what about someone who is coming from Kwesi Mintim Krom? If such a thing happens to such a person, where will the person go? Because the person needs a psychological treatment. So the whole thing is a chain. And that's why we keep saying that we all need to get involved. How many psychologists do we have to take the people through. Yes, hers has gone viral, so everyone is on her case.
Yeah.
What about those silent ones that we are not hearing of? What about those that are in the rural area every morning getting beatings, and so that person is not psychologically well? But who is there to help that person? And so for me, that's where the issue of all of us getting involved comes in. Can we make the chief palaces, shelters for women, because every village has a chief or a queen mother? Can we do that whilst we seek the professional support? If we are to do that, then it means traditional leaders have to get involved, because we do not have the police in every community in Ghana, but we do have, how do I call it, traditional leaders. Can we use the pastors or the churches or the mosques, which basically means the faith? So you realize that for us to be able to win this fight against gender-based violence, everybody, every sector has to be involved. Yeah. You see, these ones, it's just because somebody managed to take a video of her, and that's how come we all got to know. Otherwise, she would have endured it and probably die.
Because she was saying that she would kill me. Exactly. So she knew where it could lead to.
Where it could get to.
And that leads me to my next question, which is actually my final question to you, about how much of community involvement you expect in this fight. Because if the woman had not filmed it, like Doc is saying, we wouldn't have seen it.
Okay, so I would take it, probably, because we are doing an interesting one. So over the years, we've been fighting this case, and yesterday I was telling someone that I thought we were making progress as Ghana, but we are not. And thanks to young people, 2 years ago, you know, normally we'll do a walk, and at times when you are even doing the walk, people do not understand why you are doing the walk and so forth and so on. But these Gen Zs have, I don't know, they have ideas. So 2 years ago, they came up with, we have a group of young people with UNFPA called the Yole. So they came up with the idea that, look, let's take this to the grassroots for people to understand. And you know where they said we should collaborate with? They said we should collaborate with GPRTU. Initially, I was like, why collaborate with GPRTU? They said, look, this is male-dominated in the first place. Secondly, the transport sector, wherever you find GPRTU, they are in a station where you find a lot of women selling, a lot of people buying, a lot of activities. So when we send this message and we start educating them, it would go a long way. So last year, we, together with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, because we collaborate with them, and they bought into the idea. So we started a social movement with the transport sector. We had it last year. It is happening today. Exactly at 10 a.m. would be, last year was at Circle, right? This year, it's going to be held at Kaneshi. And you see, the beautiful thing is that
it's 16, our time is
it's 16 days of activism. And for each day, as a region would have its turn to celebrate it. And so, yes, it is good that we get everyone involved. Think outside the box, like the GPRTU initiative.
Thank you.
Join the bus. Join the movement. Let the media people also join the bus and join the movement for us to end gender-based violence again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
1 second. I just want to add up that we also have online violence, which we are looking at this time. So, for example, this lady's issue, are we able to get the video off the internet? And that is something the media have to help us to get it off, because the Cyber Security Act also is against that. Because especially the way she was. You are doing well by covering her, but other people are still circulating. So we have to start a campaign to get that offline. And then online, violence is
Thank
also
you.
very
We'll have
critical
to
now.
continue this conversation later. Thank you very much, Madam Gloria Kankam, Center for Women in Development and Public Policy, Ghana. Thank you as well to you, Dr. Doris Aglobite, Gender Team Lead, UNFPA. That's the United Nations Population Fund. Thank you very much for being with us and having this conversation with us. Of course, that's a conversation that we certainly are continuing, because following the recent tragic domestic violence video of Madam Harriet Ewuku's traumatic experience, Free Foundation is thanking all donors so far. We appeal to you to also send your token to help Madam Harriet Amuzu and 2 children a befitting accommodation and fully furnished shop. The Momo number, let me remind you, is 059-7433-110. That's 059-7433-110. You can use the reference Harriet. If you want to send it through any bank, the bank account number is 6010603927. Again, the bank account is 6010603927, and that is Zenith Bank, the Tudu branch. Donations can also be in cash or kind to all our good corporate organizations and individuals. Please, you could bring your donations right here as well to TV3 or call us and we will come for it. Let us show love to the vulnerable in society ahead of this festive season. And if it is your birthday, we want to help you celebrate your birthday today. I do have one. Happy birthday to El Segbeji Eduji Pongo. You are 2 today, and we wish you well. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Join us again tomorrow. Of course, I was here with my colleagues Roland Walker and Nashoko. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.